Hey guys, welcome to Surf and Show. I'm Noel Salas, and today's surfboard review is on the Mini Ghost by Pyzel Surfboards. And I've got two boards. I've got a stock 5.4, this is a squash tail. It's EPS epoxy with 5 fin boxes coming in at 25.8 liters. And then I have a custom 5.5 round tail with 3 boxes coming in at 26 liters. This is a PU poly. I'm 5'9", 165 pounds. This is gonna be fun. Sit back, get your favorite drink, enjoy the show. Now, back in 2018, I reviewed the Ghost, and it was a favorite of mine as a high-performance shortboard. I even like it as a mini step-up. I just never got to ride it very much. It needs a legitimate wave for it to be in its element. So when I heard that Pyzel was coming out with the Mini Ghost, I was stoked. Take what I love about the Ghost and put it in a shorter, thicker package. I'm gonna ride the Mini Ghost way more often. My Ghost was 5'9" in length. So surfing it in smaller waves, it just didn't fit top to bottom in that quick transition to give me the performance I was looking for. Things that I loved about the Ghost that I'm experiencing here is that it has that low entry rocker. So it's a great paddler. It carries good glide and it has that quick get up and go speed. The other thing I like about the Mini Ghost and the Ghost is that its wide point's a little forward from center, and there's a lot of foam forward here. And what I experienced about both models is that they have a generous sweet spot under the front foot, making it easy to surf, and it's nice and stable. Now, how could John take the 5'9" Ghost and compact it and get similar volume in a shorter package? And that's where we come into the changes on the Mini Ghost. It has a flat deck. And because the deck's flat, he's carrying that foam out to the rail. And when I put the rail in my hand, I would say it's full, it's boxy, almost chunky. The other thing is, the Mini Ghost even has more foam up in this area right here, and that's why it has a little bit of a beak. Now, when I turn the board on its side, I love that they're offering it in a squash tail. Now I have to talk about the little bump or hip here, giving me something to pivot off of. And then because it has this wider squash tail, it has more surface area. So it's going to carry more speed than the round tail or even the round pin on the Ghost. Now I want to talk about the fins I chose riding the squash tail. For the bulk of the review, I rode a neutral template as a thruster. I also tested it as a quad. Check out these waves. Now that we've seen a few waves, we started at BSR Surf Resort on the squash tail. I really like that wave. It reminds me of a punchy, hollow little beach break. And so the board needs to be quick in transition, and it did not disappoint. I was switching back and forth between the thruster and the quad setup. and I like the thruster setup better in the pivot, especially backside. I felt like the quad had a little bit more flow and more speed, but in the pool, it's really about surfing top to bottom, and the thruster set felt the best. Now, when I got into the ocean, especially in overhead surf, I had the drive, I had the hold, the pivot, and the thruster set with the squash tail, I really felt like it had that release. And sometimes that release for me equals good flow. I'm used to that. Now, when I transitioned to the quad in the smaller surf, there's that speed again, there's that flow. And for you quad guys, I think you'll like it with a quad, but I preferred this board with a thruster setup. And to take it a step further than that, I did try it with the Twin Plus trailer set, and I felt like as the waves had power and push, and if it was head high and bigger, it was a little bit too loose and hard to control. So for you guys that like to run a Twin Plus trailer, maybe head high and below, and guys that ride a lot more foam than I do, and your boards aren't as sensitive, I think you'll like the Twin Plus trailer in smaller surf. Now for the bulk of the testing on the round tail, I rode the rake template, then I switched to the pivot set. Check out these clips. Now that we've seen a few waves, right in the round tail and overhead surf, I felt like the board had great hold. Now, when I talk about the rails being full or boxy or chunky, I think we're all thinking, is it gonna hold when the waves get overhead? I didn't talk about this on the squash tail, but pushing both these boards in overhead surf, I had no problem coming off the bottom and sticking top turns. So the grip and the traction's there. I really feel like what's going to help enhance that traction is pair it with a good rake template. Now remember, the round tail wants to do a rounder turn. I felt like it had excellent drive. I pushed the round tail in more head high and over waves because anytime the waves got small, I would run the squash tail. But I really felt like I could ride the round tail as a small wave performance board and still carry that speed. And if I want to loosen that up and get it to pivot faster, that's why I switched to the pivot template. And I believe you can see it. One wave I did 2 quick turns where it went rail to rail, where I put 2 turns where I would probably only be able to fit 1 with the rake template. So I found the round tail board to be quite versatile, and then I wanted to push it a little bit, so I ran the Twin Plus trailer, once again feeling similar to the squash tail. My boards are so responsive. The Mini Ghost is already loose, right? And I feel like running a Twin Plus trailer in it will work as long as it's in smaller surf when you want to maximize drive and keep that tail free. Now the Mini Ghost is a favorite of mine for 2021. And I want to put these boards in a category to help you find out where it fits in your quiver. On the squash tail, I'm calling it a small wave performance board. Now it will grovel. I believe that because it has the wider squash tail, it's got more surface area and it's going to carry more speed down the line with less effort compared to the round tail. It's also going to pivot faster because of the tail shape and because of the hip, and then I also feel like it's going to give you more release compared to the round tail. So for those of you guys that are looking to progress your small wave surfing game, the squash tail is excellent. Now how does it compare in groveling compared to the Gremlin or the Astropop? Well, those 2 boards are going to carry more speed and grovel better. However, because this has a normal shortboard nose, it's going to do a tighter arcing turn and it won't catch up front. Now, on the round tail, I'm calling it a daily driver, and for most intermediate level surfers in our community, I'd say it's a great high performance shortboard for you. Now, the last thing I want to mention is grabbing a Mini Ghost stock off the rack or ordering a custom. Let's say you're 5'10", roughly 190 to 200 pounds, and you're riding volume somewhere in that 37 to 39 liters, and you're going to grab one off the rack. What I like is the Mini Ghost is going to come in at around 6'2" in length, as opposed to other daily drivers like the Phantom or the Pyzel 2 is going to come in at 6'4". So the shorter package is going to make this board a lot more fun in smaller waves. Now, if you're going to order a custom, and this happened to me, I grabbed the stock 5'4", and then I'm thinking, I want a 5'5" round tail, but when I look at the stock dimensions, the stock 5'5" is coming in at 27 and some change, which is a little bit too much foam for me. So what I did is I used the stock dims as a guideline. I looked at the 5'4" and I said, okay, I'm going to keep it the same width, roughly the same thickness, and just stretch it an inch in length. And that gave me 26 liters. And using the stock dims as a guideline, I highly recommend that when you're building a custom, I wouldn't go thicker because I feel like it's already got that chunky rail. And then if you're going to go a little bit wider, only if you're going to go up maybe 2 inches in length. Try and just stretch it an inch at a time and use the same width and the same thickness as the closest stock model that you're looking at. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's review on the Mini Ghost. If you're thinking about the squash tail, I'm calling it a small wave performance board, best in 2 to 6 foot surf. And on the round tail, excellent daily driver, best in 3 to 7 foot surf. Special shout out thanks to John Pyzel for sending these boards in for review. Look, if you like the show, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and give us a thumbs up if you like our content. Until next time, we'll see you in the water. Bye-bye.